Chapter 5 is an important chapter because we finally find out exactly what a tesseract is. Before reading the book, many of you had heard the word tesseract because of the recent Marvel movies. A Wrinkle in Time falls in the genre of science fiction in which the author uses scientific principles and theories to support the settings, characters, themes, and plot lines. This is what makes it different from fantasy. Madeleine L'Engle was inspired by the work of mathematician Charles Howard Hinton, who coined the word tesseract for four-dimensional hypercubes in the late 1800s. If you look at this representation, you can see how a four-dimensional hypercube can fold in. This is part of what inspired Madeleine L'Engle. Prior to watching this video, you should have watched the clip from Carl Sagan's Cosmos. If you have not done so, watch it now, as I will be referencing his explanations of the tesseract. Sagan does a wonderful job of explaining the tesseract. One thing that differs from the novel and the mathematical and scientific principle is in A Wrinkle in Time, L'Engle says that the tesseract is the fifth dimension. However, as Sagan explains, the tesseract is actually the fourth dimension. This is a minor detail. As the children in the novel begin to tesser, you can see how L'Engle based the novel on science. For example, Sagan's explanation of the two-dimensional world is similar to what the children in the book experience when they travel through the two-dimensional planet. L'Engle's description of the flattened children includes, "Now her lungs were squeezed together so that although she was dying for want of air, there was no way for her lungs to expand and contract, to take in the air that she must have to stay alive." She also says, "And she tried to gasp, but a paper doll can't gasp. She thought she was trying to think, but her flattened out mind was as unable to function as her lungs." This is very similar to how Sagan depicts the flattened planet. Another aspect in which we see science inspiring L'Engle's work is how Mrs. Witch is depicted. Her voice reverberates as she speaks. She's unable to fully materialize. This is also similar to how Sagan explains the three-dimensional apple passing through the two-dimensional planet. Now, let's look at the light bearers. Toward the end of the chapter, the children witness the dark thing enveloping the planet Uriel. Mrs. Whatsit begins to explain that all through the cosmos there is a grand battle against evil and how many of the greatest fighters come from Earth. She lists artists, writers, composers, scientists, mathematicians, and religious leaders. She says that they've been lights for us to see by. Why does Madeleine L'Engle choose these people? What do these people have in common? Well, think about what is going around us right now because of the COVID-19 virus. We have panic and fear consuming people, just like the dark thing was consuming the planet. When we see people giving in to these negative things, they are giving in to the darkness. What things are giving us hope during this time? Well, we of course have the people tracking the data, telling us how to flatten the curve so that we can gain control of the virus. We have scientists searching for a cure to contain it. Also, while even though we should be staying inside our homes for our safety as well as the safety of others, we have numerous resources being shared so that we can enjoy the arts. You can watch plays and concerts so that you can still enjoy the light in the world. And last but not least, we see politicians telling us to turn to prayer. We can choose to focus on the negative that is going on around us, or we can look at all the people who are working together to make sure things get better. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." So guys, be a bearer of light and love. Take care.